everyone. I'm Dave. I'm alcoholic.
Dave.
Nervous alcoholic. I had it figured out. I had a whole week. I was going to read the big book and get up here next Saturday and heal the damn masses. I had some good shit to say. But, when Mary Kay called, I couldn't never say no to AA. Definitely not to Mary Kay. She's such a sweetheart. Ryan Seacrest is America's sweetheart. Mary Kay's AA sweetheart. But I really don't care for doing this. I'll be honest with you. But I do it because I'm asked to do it. I have to remember. I think I heard Wallace say, my job, it says in the big book, is to tell you what it was like, what happened, and what it's like today. Not to be an armchair psychologist or none of that shit, because I will overcomplicate some stuff and go off on a rant. So I'm going to try to just be honest and just tell my experience, my strength, and my hope. I do have a home group, like Mary Kay said. This is my home group. My sobriety date, I had to write this down. That's about the only thing I had to write down. It's June 21st, 2019. I reckon I'll get right into it. I grew up in Rockingham. Well, y'all know where that's at. That's right down the road. My grandfather, he was well respected in the community. He was an auctioneer. He run the auction. My Aunt Bonnie would get the money and run stuff, and my daddy would play music and sing. Granddaddy passed away young. That's about I just remember being at the auction with him. I don't have many memories of him. And to be honest with you, a lot of the memories I have from my childhood are tragic ones. My mom and dad, they had the same disease that I have. Luckily, they got through it. Dad got through it with church, and I don't know how Mom did it. Just don't faith. Church too, I'd imagine. But my dad, he really got involved in church. He does a lot of things like we do here. Was in a lot of service, did a lot of stuff at the church and all that. But coming up, if you was in an alcoholic home, I guess I don't have to tell you a lot of the details, but I know one of my youngest memories was getting woke up over my grandma's. My grandma, that was my saving grace. That was my comfort, man. I'm the baby of the family, Davey, that's what my cousins and everybody else call me. And we'd all go to grandma's, me, my cousins. She kept us during the summer while our parents worked. And that, to me, that's the bit of peace I had. Because, at home there was a lot of turmoil. But I was at grandma's one night, and I heard a knock on the door with my Uncle Dennis. And I could tell by looking at him, and then Dad comes staggering up, and he's got a little blood on his face right there, and he said they'd been in a car wreck. They called my mama in DOA. Dad was drinking, and he walked away with a scratch. Mama, like I said, hey, she got beat up pretty bad. But I was thinking about that today, and in the spirit of Mother's Day coming up, my mom was a better mom laying in a hospital bed at that house than a lot of women ever will be. She made sure we laughed and made sure she was okay, even though she had her problems. It was a loving family, man. We had good times. It just, coming up, I seen what alcohol can do, and I don't never remember a time in my youth where alcohol wasn't involved. My dad, he'd have cookouts. Like I said, he loved to play and sing country music. I remember when I don't know, maybe 6 or 7, being at Rufus Oliver's. If any of y'all from Rockingham might know where that's at, and standing on the bar stool singing old Hank Williams songs for them guys up there, and just I thought, man, this is pretty cool. That's all I knew, just that was it. So I don't remember my first drink. I hear people say sometimes, that they remember that first drink and that feeling coming over them and all that shit. I don't remember. Hell, I don't never remember alcohol not being around. Shit, when we got sick when I was little, it was liquor, honey, and lemon. Just Dad had me go get him some beers at the refrigerator, and I'd take some sips. I'm gonna say, back then I sound old saying that shit, but we could go to the store and get Dad beer and cigarettes and all that. Harold just give them to us. And I guess Daddy thought Anheuser-Busch didn't know how to count a 12-pack. A lot of times they'd be 11 in. Turn the box toward the back. You know, he never did say nothing. But hell, when he's playing, he has buddies over. He'd always hand me the beer, take a sip, shit like that. But I guess as I come up and got into junior high school, I wish I could tell you like when I was like, oh shit, I like this. I don't never remember a time, but I started drinking more in junior high. We'd get together on the weekends. I remember that was Mickey's Ice. I do remember that. Oh damn cheap ass beer. You get a big one for like 69, 79 cents, and we thought we was doing something. So now at Betty Jean's house, Peanut was older than us, that named Peanut. We'd send him to the store to get our alcohol. We sat around drinking, had good times, man. And that's kind of what it was like. Camp out on the trampoline. We'd sleep out in the yard so we could drink. There wasn't much camping out, you know. But we'd always drink, carry on, but it didn't seem to be no big deal to me at the time. And it didn't. Even like through junior high school, it didn't. When I got to high school, I played sports in junior high. I played football and baseball all through my youth, or football especially. I loved the game of football. But when I got to high school, I didn't do none of that. I think high school was probably when I first started feeling like, when I remember feeling, I'm sure I felt this way my whole life, but I remember feeling like, I feel a little different than everybody else. You know, like I didn't quite fit in. Walking down the hall, I felt like surely these motherfuckers are looking at me and talking crap. You know, like maybe I'm walking funny. And I guess if you think about how you walk, you probably do walk like funny shit. I don't know. But I didn't feel like I fit in, but I knew I could fit in. I could fit in with the preppies, I could fit in with the hoods, but it wasn't me. It was all like a mask. I knew what to say. I knew how to manipulate. I knew how to survive and get by in that, but it never was me. I'm gonna try to keep it directly alcohol because that's my problem is alcohol. I do have some other substances in my story though. But first time in high school, I started smoking pot. That I do remember the first time I done that, and that was it was at my 10th grade year in high school, and I just remember thinking, damn, I could do this, and they won't smell it on me. And I thought, you know, hell, I wouldn't have to feel normal. I could change from here up, you know, and I could get by. And I think from the first day I did that, I pretty much did it every day during high school. Made me feel like I was part of something, I guess, you know. Buddy of mine, I say friends, but I was thinking that I don't have no friends that I used to hang out with. I was thinking about some of the people I used to hang out with. I remember riding around with this guy, we hung out a lot, you know, to get high. And that's really about all we had in common. I remember him listening to damn Stevie Miller Band all the time. I don't listen to Stevie Miller Band, but, you know, I could listen to it and get high. But I had really nothing in common other than that. But I guess I did that, and you know, the way I come up, it's you go to school, graduate, get a job, go to work, get married, have kids, and I fell right into that. I had met my first wife. She was in my math class my 12th grade year, as a matter of fact. But after school, she and I started hooking up, and we had our first kid when we was 19. Jesse, that's my oldest son. I got married when I was 19. Back up a little bit. I moved out when I was 17. I always worked. I worked during the summer even when I was in high school. As soon as I got out of school, I went and got my GED. I had a chance to skip a grade early on. I was pretty smart, actually, believe it or not. I know it don't sound like it, but I had a chance to skip a grade. Mom and Dad didn't want me to do it because of, you know, my peers and my cousins. We was all in the same grade. But I didn't apply it was easy to me, man. I didn't ever take a book home, made straight A's. Just simple. I wish I would apply myself now, of course. But high school, I really started slacking off, man, skipping and did all that. But still, after I quit school, my 12th grade year, that was a genius idea. I went and got my GED the same day. Back then, damn, I can't believe I'm saying back then. Feel old. Take a GED practice test, and if you scored high enough, then you got it. And so I did that, and I went to work and got her, like I said, Melissa and I, that's my first wife. We moved out, 17, got a place, started renting it, started acting like adults. It wasn't neither one of us adults. Hell, I still ain't much one of them now. But I guess that's probably when I noticed problems started occurring with alcohol. I remember being in that double wide we was renting, and I ain't thought about this in a while. We got another knock on the door, boy, damn. And this time it was my mama at the door. And my cousin Timmy, this guy, he's one that was at grandma's with me all the time, man. We went on like double dates together. Any big first you have in adolescence, you know, he and I have done it. He was hit and killed by a drunk driver. Dad about killed mom, and Timmy got killed. That's my baby boy's name. We named him after him. But I remember that feeling. I remember being angry, man. I wanted to kill that dude. You know, I remember the hurt. Seeing my Aunt Wanda, the hurt on her face, man. My cousin Robbie being just devastated. He was devastated. But it wasn't shortly after that. I think I was 19 when that happened. When I turned 21, I got DWI. You know, all that tragedy, all that damn death, all that pain, and I know where it come from. I still went out and did it. You know, I was mad at this sumbitch for hitting and killing my cousin, and here I was doing the same thing. You know, I realized the day he was sick. You know, he had a problem. It could have been me. It could have been me several times that done that. So after I got that DWI, it was up here too. If it had been in Richmond County, I got the good old boy treatment in Richmond County. I never would have got it. Never would have got it. But that's the first incident I really had with it. It really didn't cause me too much complications. You know, the few years after that happened, I kind of kept it in the road. My idea was I'd work and I drank. I got out of work, I went home, you know, I didn't buy the little, probably this is the first indication of alcoholism. I didn't ever buy the 12-ounce beers. I'd get the 24-ounce beers. I'm like, shit, I ain't gonna have to keep walking to the refrigerator. You know, it just made sense to me. It didn't make no sense to get the little beers. So I'd get them in the case, big 24-ounce, and I'm just having a couple beers. I drink about 3 24s every night. Like I said, it didn't really interfere with anything that I could think of. Probably my marriage a little bit. I remember her griping about it some, but what she know, you know, she's probably the reason why I was drinking anyway. Was my thoughts. You know, I know that's wrong, but I guess what hit me, what spiraled me out in my early drinking years was another substance. Actually, I was working. By this time, I'd had another son, Timothy. We had bought our first new house, had to hold 2-3 cars, had a boat, all those material things. I worked a lot. I thought, well, hell, I'm coaching ball, tired as hell. I want to be the best dad I could be, you know what I mean? I want to coach ball and do all this stuff. And whatever, my wife had got some damn pain pills. And I took one night, and I thought, shit, this gives me energy, man. This will make me a better dad. It'll make me just an awesome employee, better dad. I can coach ball. I won't be tired, man. What a great thing this is. Still drinking all the time, of course. And I done that for a while. And that, you know, y'all do know that it takes a toll on you. It took a toll on me anyways, and I become addicted to that, and I was addicted to alcohol. And that's kind of my path through my whole 20s, 30s, up I hit 41. My idea of getting sober was to stop doing anything but alcohol. I mean, how in the hell am I going to do that, you know? Alcohol, to me, was like an uncle. You know, it was part of the family, shit. Didn't know how to do anything without it, fishing, any damn thing. I couldn't wrap my mind around it at that time. And during that time, I had my first wife and I, of course, you know, we started having problems. It wasn't like problems like mom and dad had. You know, it wasn't violent, none of that shit. But it was just like drove a wedge in between us, you know, like how it does. Just wouldn't get along, bickering and shit. So we just decided we needed to split ways, and we did. And in between that single stage, I started selling pharmaceuticals, I guess you'd say. I was working at Pepsi at the time. I remember that's how selfish, self-centered I am. You know, me wanting to be a great dad and all this shit. I remember my dad, my son asking me one weekend, like, Dad, won't you stay here with us and let's go to the bowling alley or go do this or whatever. I had a date that weekend. Left them sitting there at Mom and Daddy's, you know. Not thinking, man, selfish, self-centered. It's all about me, me, me. Didn't see anything wrong with it at the time. I do now. I ain't gonna lie, I had a good time during the divorce, after the divorce and shit, you know. Thought it was a good time, you know, despite of the effect it had on my boys and my mom and dad. Then I decided it'd be good probably for me to settle down, you know, because a woman will fix it. I get me another woman, you know. She can help with the kids. I need an assistant is what I need. And that's what I did. I actually met her up here. She was a cocktail waitress, so the little girl loved me to death. Loved me to death. She'd get in my pocket and go anywhere with me. I never did appreciate her. I was just selfish, self-centered, man. But after I got married to her and lost a couple jobs, I know I'm skipping around. I ain't used to doing this shit. I'm not an eloquent speaker. Y'all stick with me. My drinking really picked up. I did get off some of the other stuff, but my drinking really escalated. She had a nose like a bloodhound, man. God almighty. She just leave me alone. I probably wouldn't drink so much. But of course, it caused problems in our marriage. It busted up that marriage. I'm going to kind of touch on this, and I'm going to get sober because that's the good part. After we got divorced, my dad, who I said had his complications coming up, I got sober. Then I ended up being best friends, man. Like when I was 19, got married, had Jesse. He's a great, great grandfather, man. He's an awesome grandfather. He's an even better friend to me. We go fishing a lot. He catfish. I like bass fish. He sat there and he just sat on his chair and he'd have his pole out there and he'd tell me I was fishing wrong. I said, fishing's supposed to be relaxing. He said, you ain't stopped since you got here. But I love spending time with him. But when he passed away, it's like the divorce hit. And I was going down that road anyways. I'm not using that for an excuse for it to escalate. It was going there anyways. My drinking got really, really heavy, really bad. I didn't want to do nothing. I just wanted to drink. They're toward the end. I guess I could say this. I know it ain't a fifth step, but this is my experience. What it took for me, it says no human will can relieve me of my alcoholism. I tried doctors, I tried everything those last 3 or 4 years. Tried medication, I went to church, I tried everything. I was sleeping in my mama's recliner. Couldn't hold a job down. All I wanted to do was drink and black out. I mean, that's it. I couldn't do nothing. If I had to do something, I felt like I had to have a drink to go do. I remember I had to go to a meeting at social services about something. It wasn't related to the boys. I don't even remember what it was, but I thought I had to drink before I go up here, because these people, the reason why I drink it, they just act right. I wouldn't have to drink. That was my mentality. But sitting over there at my mom's house, she had, after my dad died, she started going out where she should have been. Not the bars or anything, but moving on with her life. So I was sitting there by myself one night in a blackout. This should qualify me, nothing else don't. Passed out with a cigarette in my hand. Got drug out by some old guy. Stayed in the hospital 3 days, smoke inhalation. Pretty much, that's what they told me what happened. I don't know if that's what happened or not. I couldn't tell you. I had no idea. All I know is the place was ablaze, and they drove me out, and I ended up staying in the hospital for 3 days. Time after that, before I got sober, this is just all started down the path. I'd come to detox. Thought after I went to detox, after I got to feeling better, I'd be all right. I've done that numerous times. But this particular time I had talked with Mark, I went to detox. My son was graduating, my baby boy was graduating high school. And he said, no, I want you to go to Safe House. Go to Safe House, and then we'll get you here. And I said, man, I'm not going to miss my son's graduation. I'm not going to do it. I'm a fucking great father. Father of the year here. And he told me what would happen. He's like, if you go to that graduation, he said, we'll get you in here. It's going to be a week or two. And he said, you're probably going to drink. I thought, that son of a bitch. Before I got to graduation, I was drinking. Couldn't stop, man. Could not stop, no matter what I done, no matter what was going on, how important, how much meaning it had to me. I could not stop. Could not stop. So that started like a 3 or 4 week plan. He told me to keep calling. I could get in treatment. I knew I couldn't do it if I had access to it. I admire people that come to these rooms. It can be done. I know it can be done. I hear y'all talk about it. But that's not my story. Me, I had to be removed from it. Could not get to it. If I could get to it, if I could think about getting to it, that's that mental obsession. I tried my best, in a couple of weeks not to drink. It would eat me up. And I'd have to go get it. And I think, well, I'll just get enough just to calm my nerves, just to knock off the shake. And then when I put that one in me, that monster, man, it's like my body screams for it, man, and I can't get enough of it. I have to drink to oblivion. And that's what I did. Next to last drinking spell, I thought it'd be good to check into a hotel for 3 days. I don't remember how I got the money. I hustled. Went on a 3-day blackout. Woke up on the side of the road with ambulance drivers and cops standing beside me. I stayed at the hotel for 3 days. I don't remember none of that. I was blacked out the whole time. I remember waking up, seeing them standing over, and they asked me what my name was. I could hear them. I know what they was asking, but I couldn't tell them my name. I had no idea who the hell I was. So we got to the hospital. They checked me. My blood alcohol level was a .44. And I shouldn't remember none of that. But for whatever reason, that night I remember it. It's like the shit seemed brighter. It's like I was supposed to remember it. I believe I should. And I guess that really was the turning point. I wish I could say that was the last time I drank. It wasn't. That started me to really try not to drink and get to treatment. And I did better. I kept calling Mark, but I would drink here and there. Because I could not drink. But June 21st, I got treatment. I rode over that hill, and I remember thinking to myself, man, I thought they might be wearing cloaks and medallions and sacrificing goats and chickens or some shit. And if they would have been, I would have done it. I needed to get that thing off me, man. I thought, man, maybe these guys know how to get me sober. Because I can't. The doctors can't. These pills can't. Nothing can't. And I get there, and you know, I start hearing these guys talk about how they was, you know. I'm like, what they was like and how they got sober. First of all, I went to a psychiatrist one time. I never trusted that fucker. You know what I mean? He was pardon my language. He wasn't one of us. He told me some good stuff, but I didn't believe him. But for whatever reason, they probably told me about the same thing he did. But I believed them. I believed what they were saying. I remember the first night I was in there, didn't sleep good the first 2 nights. I still had stuff coming out of my system. It wasn't sleeping. Told one of the counselors there, I'm not sleeping, man. I just can't sleep. He said, that's all right. You get tired enough, this time you'll sleep. Damn. You know, I'm used to having a substance to fix something. And, they told me to do something there I thought was kind of corny. They said, pray. And y'all think I tried that? You know, I mean, who wouldn't try that? But my prayers were selfish prayers, like, God, get me out of this. If I get out of this one, I won't do it again. I promise. I promise. You take this headache away, stop me from throwing up. I won't do it again. I promise. I don't know how many times I said that prayer. It's foxhole prayer, man. Didn't mean nothing. But they told me to pray in a different way. They told me to pray for others. I think like the third night I was there, I tried it. Started praying for everybody in there. I knew everybody's name and named them off one at a time, just praying for them. And before I could get to the last person, I think, person or two, I was asleep, slept good. I remember the third day I was there, they told me that mental session, I'd heard them talk about it in the book, that I was going to have it. When I had it, they told me what to do. Tell somebody about it. Pray about it. Say this 3-second prayer. God remove this obsession so I can be of maximum service to you and others. That third day, I had some guys out there on a golf cart, and they was probably drinking Diet Coke or Coca-Cola. Hell, I don't know. But in my mind, it was a Coors Light or a Bud Light. And, man, it looked good to ride around on that golf cart. And that mental obsession hit. And I was like, man, I wish I could get one. I started sweating a little bit. But then I was, just from as beat down as I was willing to listen, take some suggestions. I done what they told me to do. I told another guy that was there about it. Quit sweating so much. Prayed about it. And it seems like it left. I thought, well, I'll be damned. You know, them boys might be on to something here. And that, you know, when that happens, it just gains more and more trust. And I just started trusting more, believing what they tell me. When I heard them, I remember my cousin asked me one time, you know, I think I was throwing up blood or something. Who knows? I don't remember. But I remember him asking me, just baffled, like, hey, you know, alcohol is doing like this. Why don't you just quit? You know, he didn't get it. You know, I didn't think nobody got it. I didn't think nobody drank the way I did. I didn't think nobody felt the way I did. But they got it. You know, when they was reading in the book, I'm like, damn, that's me, man. You know, and it felt good to not be the only one. You know, not to feel like, shit, you know, I got this terrible problem that there is no solution for. No, it says they have the same thing. They doing better, and this is how we done it. So that felt great. That felt good. Went through treatment. I think I graduated with honors. I don't know. It's such a thing. But I started laughing in there, man. I started having a good time. I started trusting a little bit. I believed what they told me, and I was willing to do it. You know. But what I was doing wasn't working. Now, I was fortunate enough to go to a safe house. I'm still there today. When I got out, I remember going to the safe house. I was talking to a buddy about this the other day. I guess that the pain's great enough, desperation is there. You know, both of my kids are grown. I got one in college, one at the beach. And Timothy was going into college. Jesse was already out when, you know, the pain got great enough for me to do something different, unfortunately. But I'm like, man, I go to say, I don't like for people to get out and have all that responsibility. Whew. Wasn't my path. You know what I mean? You could definitely do it. I know they do it. But I was grateful that my situation was exactly the way it was supposed to be for me to get sober. That's just what it took. So I remember getting to the safe house, and I've been removed from alcohol for, 28 days, unless I going to cross the pond and see if them old boys was drinking Coors Light or something. I thought about it one night. You know, you couldn't get it there. I remember I got out and come to this meeting. I think it was the first night, second night out there, maybe the first night. About 230 pounds, because all I've been doing was eating and drinking for 2 years, and then I really ate when I was at the colony, man. Cause that's all there is to do in second class. And I remember Jared, my first sponsor was appointed to me, young guy. I thought they had it in for me. I'm like, man, they must not like me. They set me up to feel that Mark, you got something against me. I know it. But I'm going to give it a shot. And Jeremy was a great sponsor. He was exactly what I needed at that time. You know, he had just a few months more than I did, maybe a year sober, but he had done the process. He had got out, he had moved in the halfway house, and he had stayed sober a year. You know, and he told me how to do that. And that's all the hell I needed to know at the time. I didn't need to know nothing else. So it was great. I remember, I think maybe 3 or 4 days at the house. Oh, I was finished saying, they got me to read up here, like the first or second night I was out. Well, I was nervous as hell. I'm nervous tonight, but I was really nervous. Like my insides were damn shaking. And they talking about you got to make yourself uncomfortable. I remember that. I remember that from treatment. They heard one of the counselors say that he was sitting in the back of the class, and somebody told him that they moved to the front of the class and how uncomfortable it made him. And it helped him to do that, to be uncomfortable. And I had a lot of respect for the guy, and I was thinking, damn, let me move to the front of the class. And he was right. That little bit of change, just from there to there, man, I was uncomfortable as hell. But they tell me not to get comfortable for whatever reason, and for whatever reason it works. I don't know. But I got up here and read. I remember doing that. I remember the first time I went to a store, working with a guy named Chip, doing some tires like 3 or 4 days, getting out. And liquor was my drink of choice. I drank beer, but hell, I drank any damn thing. Who am I kidding? But I especially the last 3 or 4 years, it was pretty much liquor. Beer just over a waste of time. You know, I wanted to go from 0 to 100. I'd take a half pint right to the head. So I go into the store over here, and I walk in there, and up at the counter, they come out with these, what are they called? They look like little half pints and little pints of damn liquor at the store. You know, I was prepared for the beer aisle, but I wasn't prepared for that. And I seen it, and you know, they say you'll recoil like from a hot flame. And when I seen it, my eyes met it, I felt uncomfortable. I turned immediately. It wasn't nothing I thought about, it was just something that happened. You know, I'd prayed up and done my gratitude list and all that. And when I got to the back of the store, they had damn bits back in there. And I'm like, damn. So I went out the door. He probably thought I was crazy, which they somewhat right. And I told the guy I was working with, you know, and he was in the program. And I told him about it. And I'm like, man, I wasn't expecting that, you know. And said that 3-second prayer and got myself together and went into a store. You know, I don't know. So maybe some people take that for granted, but for me, that was a big deal to walk in there that day, you know, and not pick up alcohol. That's a big deal. So I keep coming here. Before I know it, I get a year. And I tossed this around in my mind today, you know, about maybe sharing it, maybe not sharing it, but I prayed, and whatever comes out meant to come out. I've heard guys in this room say, you know, maybe you shouldn't get involved in a relationship. You know, staying in a halfway house, don't have nothing to offer, all that shit. I thought, well, I'm not as smart as I am. You know, I just ain't got what I got. You know what I mean? Ego, arrogant man. And I done what I heard many times not to do. You know, I got involved in a relationship. And it was toxic as hell. I'm not saying she's toxic. I can say I'm toxic, because that's all that matters is my part in it. But stayed in a year, man. Come close to drinking a couple times. Peter was my sponsor at the time. Peter became a second sponsor. Jeremy got busy, and it was kind of like nothing bad. Me and Jeremy still great friends. It was just to a point I needed to make a change. Peter was here all the time, man, and I needed that. you know, I don't know nothing about life on life's terms sober, man. All I know is drinking. So I'd come down here and I'd gripe about it, and I'd whine about it, and this and that, and I guess in his infinite wisdom, he told me the right thing one day. He told me, he said, from now on when you come down here, you can't talk about that no more. You know, you're not going to talk about it with me anymore. I'm like, damn, damn Mars. He said, it's obvious that women is your Achilles heel or whatever he said, that I don't know what else to tell you. But what that done, and he's like, hell, what good does it do to come out here and bitch for an hour, to feel good for an hour, to get out and walk out the door and do the same damn thing? And he was right. And what that done, it made me own it. It made me start looking at it like, oh shit, you know what I mean? I don't have nobody to turn to. I might need to do something about this. And I did. And she's a great lady, great lady. Should be good for somebody, but the truth is I'm not good for anybody right now. You know, I got some things I need to work on. But I got out of that a couple times in that I was telling you I was thinking about drinking. I actually made it down here to the bottom of the hill one night. I was going to get a drink, you know, just that, all them emotions and feelings of anger and resentment, all that shit. For whatever reason, I don't know, I stopped and turned around and went back home. I prayed about it going down the hill. I thought about it. I don't remember a conscious decision that said don't do it. I just know I turned around and walked up the hill. I'm not one of them guys that tell you that, it is more so about how to live today, Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's still also about not drinking or drugging for me, because I still think about drinking or drugging. People that don't, I envy that. I try to, I listen to them, but I like to hear when people say, I thought about drinking today. I'm like, well, shit, I ain't the only one. Sometimes I think I'm the only one that thinks about drinking in here. It's just, it's good to hear the truth. You know what I mean? It's good when people are honest and opened up and say that and share that. You're not going to get, I feel like I'm going to get shunned for saying I'm thinking about drinking and damn Alcoholics Anonymous. And that's just simply not the damn case. But the truth is, when I do that, I do need to take a look at some things. That's another thing I've been taught. A fourth and fifth step, 10th step, that personal inventory. That's huge for me. It's easy for me to look at everybody else and, hell, I can take y'all's inventory great. I can give great advice. But damn, I have to work at taking my own. Since I've got out of that relationship, I've been coming to more and more meetings. I ain't gonna say I recommitted. That sounds kind of cheesy. I've started doing more AA. At the time, I made that my higher power. I was coming to like one meeting a damn week, doing the bare minimum. You'd ask me, I was doing great, but really, that mentally I wasn't. But after getting back in here and getting involved, doing AA, doing the steps, there's some things even I've done during that. I still took the inventory, but I've really made more effort to become part of, these past few months, and I feel like it's paying off. They tell me I get what I put into it, and I find that to be true. I don't like doing this, but it's part of the process. My sponsor told me it builds character. I'm thinking, well, hot yoga does too. I ain't gonna do that shit. But after Peter passed, I got another sponsor, Kurt, great sponsor. I enjoy meeting with him. I normally meet with him about every Friday down here. Probably don't call as much as I should, but I'm around alcoholics all the time. I have great roommates, great friends. I'm tethered to many people. David Casey, Travis, man, guys in this room. I was thinking like I didn't have the friends I had before I got here and the friends I got now. My damn phone, I hate that sometimes, but if I think about it, it's really gratitude, man. I got people that care about me, that send me texts every morning, people that call and check on me. And what a gift that is, but I'm so selfish and self-centered, I forget that. I'm like, man, it don't bother me. I'm doing what I want to do, So I have to continually work on it. I wish I could tell you I got a lot of shit back. I got the most important thing back, man. I got a me I could stand. I look in the mirror. I could sleep at night, man. I could lay my head on the pillow. I sleep great. I laugh. I do have plans to, not this Friday, next Friday, go take the test to get my license. I'm a little fearful about that. For me, I have to do it slow. It's just for me, man. Some guys get in here and they boom, 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 and that's great. But for me, I heard one guy, another counselor I have a whole lot of respect for, him and his family. He told me he had to walk away from life for like 3 years and just do this. And I kind of stuck to that other than the relationship shit. Kind of stuck with this, and I'm just taking it one day at a time. I don't know what the future holds. I don't have a clue. But I've heard, I think Seth say this, and it makes sense to me now. If it don't get any better than what it is right now, man, shit, I'm great. I'm fucking great, man. I don't have to put nothing in me to get out of bed, to go to work. My son calls, he called right before the meeting. Cool. We're planning on that. But he called, and I can answer the phone. I did it again, man. I remember a time he called my cousin. Damn. Whew. He said, I don't want my daddy to die. Fuck. This program don't give me nothing else. Shit. Woo. Just to be able to pick up the phone and listen to him. I'm his go-to. He calls me any problem he has. He knows I'm going to be there. What a gift that is. What a gift it is to be a friend. Fuck, where's this shit coming from? I have great friends, probably better friends than me than I am to them. I'm working on that, trying to give back. But he called before I come in here, and he knew I was speaking tonight. And he said, I'm proud of it. What a difference that is, man. If you are struggling with it, I ain't saying get up here and cry like I'm doing. But shit, if that's what you need to do it. I'd rather fucking do this than go pick up a drink. But yeah, answer that phone when that baby calls, man. I'm going to keep doing this thing one day at a time, stick close to you guys, try to hang out with the winners. They told me that when I got out to them. Like, how in the hell you know who the winners are? You just know, who's doing it, man. Who's doing the program, who's walking it, not just talking it. Get with them people, stick with them, tether yourself to them people. Listen to people like Wallace, Frank, Chuck, Kurt, the guys that come before us. Appreciate y'all letting me blabber, man.